morning. Here at Memorial Drive Baptist Church, we operate with teams. We have anywhere between 10 to 12 teams every year. We have teams such as the student team and the children's team. We have a personnel team, a stewardship and finance team. We also have a team of deacons. The deacons do some very obvious things, and they're involved in some less obvious things. The deacons serve at the Lord's Supper. You may also find them locking up at the conclusion of the services on Sunday. They are involved with helping to facilitate the Baby Bottle Bonanza, where we take a collection for unwed mothers. They have also been involved in helping us give gifts to people during Thanksgiving. They called it Saintsgiving at Thanksgiving. In order to allow you to get to know them better, we've asked them to share something about themselves.
Good morning. My name is Nelda Ivy. I was born and raised in Carlsbad, New Mexico. I'm the oldest of 3 children. I have a brother who lives in Nevada. My sister Kathy, who's visited here many times, lives in Phoenix, Arizona. My daddy was a potash miner and a carpenter. Mother was a stay-at-home mom who took a cake decorating class the year I graduated from high school. She soon became known as the Cake Lady for the wonderful cakes she made for all occasions. When I was 18, I picked out a wedding cake in one of Mother's books. I told her it was the one I wanted her to make for my wedding. 13 years later, it was the cake she made for my wedding to David. When David and I make the long drive back to Carlsbad to visit friends there, I'm reminded of what I learned about God and His goodness growing up in the First Baptist Church where I was baptized when I was 7. On our visit there at Thanksgiving, we made the time to visit with 2 of the ladies that were in my life from the beginning at First Baptist Church, Josie Mae Wilson and Ann Wright. We had a wonderful time visiting with them and catching up and remembering good times. A week later, Ann passed away. That made me realize that we should never forget to thank the people who have touched our lives. In 1975, Barry Hagedorn called me and asked me to come to Houston to help him with a new restaurant supply business he was starting. After prayer and talking it over with my parents, I decided to make the move, which was one of the best things God has ever done for me. I started going to South Main Baptist Church and making new friends. One Sunday, a handsome young man attended our class. I remember telling a friend how cute I thought he was. David was quite shy, so I made the first move and went up to talk to him at one of the activities that they had at the church. We started dating and got married about 9 months later in the chapel. We had a beautiful 7-tiered cake that Mother made in Carlsbad. 3 layers were real and 4 were cardboard, and it made it all the way to Houston in perfect condition. Along with meeting and marrying David, I worked with Mr. Hagedorn for 30 years. God is so good. My dream for MDBC is to reach more of the families in our neighborhood. I believe we have the staff and talented people in this church to reach out to them. I think our Christmas program, One Bethlehem Night, is an excellent outreach. I believe if we could get them in the sanctuary to see and hear the program, and then attend the wonderful reception after the program, they would be likely to come back for more. David and I have been richly blessed to be a part of MDBC for 17 years.
Well, hello, I'm Tom Hawley. I am the husband of Nancy Hawley, parent of Will and Claire Hawley, and I'm a professor at University of Houston after a long career at Shell Oil, and I direct the petroleum engineering program there, and we've been members here for many, many years. And I want to tell you a little bit about how I came to Christ, and perhaps give a little encouragement to a group that needs encouragement. My father was a chaplain in the Army. He had been called up for the Cuban Missile Crisis. We lived in Fort Smith. The chapel did not have an evening worship service, and so we went to First Baptist in the evening. Dad thought that I was struggling with a decision at the worship service, and he asked me about it after. And indeed, he was very perceptive, and I accepted Christ there and then. I was 9 years old. It's not a particularly exciting story, but it's not the whole story, and perhaps the rest of my story may serve as an encouragement to those of you who are parents of teenagers. So I grew up. I went away to college, and in college I drifted away from the church. This was not a conscious rebellion against God or against my parents. My relationship to my parents was very, very good. It was nothing interesting like that. It was, frankly, just laziness. It was easier to roll over on Sunday morning and continue to sleep. So I drifted away from the church, and I continued that pattern throughout my college days. My parents knew about it, and they didn't, bless their hearts, they didn't nag me or preach at me. They just continued their faithful Christian witness and prayed for me. And over many years, all through graduate school, I continued this pattern. I did manage to marry a good Christian woman in the process, but we together continued this pattern through graduate school until we finished and moved to Houston and had our first child, Will. And I became convicted by the Holy Spirit that we were not living up to our responsibility as parents, and that really nagged at both of us, and we immediately began to look for a church home. We pretty quickly settled on Memorial Drive, where we were absorbed as just though we had been part of the family forever, and we've been here ever since. So if you're a parent of a teenager that's drifting, keep up your Christian witness, pray for your teenagers, and take some encouragement from my story. I hope that the Holy Spirit will work on them and bring them home.